This is the first year I can almost not see all the way to the back. We're here to reimagine how people come together. We're just getting started.
You're all the reason we're here. You're the driving force that motivates all of the work that we're putting into this platform we call Roblox.
How we connect online has evolved. And I'm so excited for us all to see how we continue to innovate together and look forward to all the amazing things that you're all going to create.
Our vision has always been to abstract one experience across all devices.
Roblox is finally on PlayStation. We're going to take you on a demo experience. Dave will be on his mobile device, Ty will be on his MetaQuest, and I will be on PlayStation.
And we think generative tools are going to empower all of you to go so much faster and to enable you to focus on your creativity.
Our AI assistant will be available to users on the platform. We're really excited to see what you all do with this to empower creation everywhere.
Knowing now the power of our creative community, we can supercharge our next 5-year predictions. We're reimagining how people come together to play, learn, work, communicate. It's literally a great time to be alive, and I'm so glad to be doing it with all of you. So thank you so much.
Please welcome Robert Melly, Steph Carazza, and Tyler Hoff.
Good morning, everyone. Congratulations on finding your way to the back of the auditorium here, and I hope you all got your MetaQuests this morning. I am Robert Melly. I'm joined by Steph Carazza and Tyler Hoff. Together, we are the leadership team of Studio. So we're going to talk to you today. We're so excited to talk to you today about the investments we are making in creative workflows. And if you have any questions, any concerns, anything you want to continue talking about, please find us at the Studio booth after this talk. The beating heart of this platform is the people sitting in this room and the content that you create. Everything that we do, every decision we make, every idea that we come up with, everything we talk about is about how do we make you successful? How do we make you create faster? How do we enable you to realize your vision? And how do we make you make your users happy and engaged on the platform? We think that anything we do that makes you successful will make us successful as a platform and as a company, and will bring us here in this auditorium and in Fort Mason in San Francisco every year. You heard a little bit yesterday from Dave, from Nick, and Tian about our vision for creation, and our vision for creation is expansive. We want to enable you to create anything. This is experiences, this is UGC items, layered clothing, avatars, plugins, workflows, community tools, extensions, anything you can imagine, we want you to create on the Roblox platform and be successful doing this. We are very focused and very committed to enable creation anywhere. So this is inside of Studio. This is the external tools that you use and the workflows that you build, making this great and integrated and connected. And then the visionary thing we keep talking about is enabling creation from inside of your experiences. This means that you can build an experience that users can create, make content, and own it on our platform, and we think that this is a wonderful future. And we are very focused, very committed to enabling anyone to create. This means the newest user to Roblox who is just learning how to experience things can make content that they own. But this also means the most grizzled game dev in the industry can come to Roblox and use all of the tools and workflows that they care about and be able to create very, very quickly. And overall, we are doing really well. We have Studio and our creation products available in 170 countries. We have translated them into 9 languages, and we have more coming on the way. We have a customer satisfaction score of 77, and we watch this number very, very closely. We care about how you feel about the product. We care that you feel good about being successful and creating on the platform. We want to know what your pain points are, and we want to resolve them. And as of 2022, we have 15 million experiences that have been created on the platform, and we want this number to just go nuts in the future. We want to make you so successful that you can create more and more and realize your vision on Roblox. So today we're going to talk about 3 things. We're going to talk about our continuing investment in Studio. fixing all of the issues with your workflows, and then moving the product into the future. We're going to talk about our investments in AI and how we view AI as an accelerator for your workflows. We want to make you so much more efficient with the power of AI. And we're going to talk about the visionary thing, which is enabling creation inside of your experiences. You can think about this as taking every creative workflow that you have access to in Studio and making it an API that you can integrate into your workflows in Experience. So at this point, I'm going to hand it over to Steph to talk about Studio.
Thank you, Rob. My name is Steph. I joined Roblox a little over a year ago. My street credits is that I'm the founder of Mixamo, and I have been caring for game developers and democratizing the content creation process now for almost 2 decades. I am truly finding humbling and a privilege to be serving such a large and creative community like you guys are. And I have to say, it's a bit weird for me to be on stage and not having a guitar. So Rob, where's my Gibson ES335?
But you had the clicker.
Fair enough. So I'll make good with that then. OK, so advancing Studio. Let's look at quality and performance. We always brag about crazy features and new workflows, but ultimately, as you saw yesterday in the presentation by Nick and Tian, is the foundation that is important. Studio needs to be stable, reliable. You need to be able to do your work in Studio. And so this year, we put a lot of effort in reducing the crash rate. Uninterrupted session time went up from 30 to 80 hours. And this is just the beginning. We also introduced Team Create Auto Reconnect, which really pushed the Team Create session connection stability to 99% for the first time. Rest assured, we want to add a lot more nines to that number. But I think it was a massive improvement from where we were before. And sometimes it's about tweaking small things that you do 100 times a day. For example, play solo start time. We reduced by 17%, but multiply that for the 100, 200 times you do that over the day. It really matters. So there's going to be a lot more coming. It's not that we feel we are done. We are just at the beginning of the journey to make Studio really incredibly reliable and stable for you. And so we are fully committed to that. Please don't hold back. Send your feedback on the dev forums. We are there to hear from you. And then as part of that, we also added native support for Apple Silicon. Again, better performance and more stability for those devices, as we saw yesterday. And so again, we continue in getting native support on any device that we can so that the performance and stability are going to improve. But it's not just about stability and performance and not crashing. It's also about usability, right? We want to improve the quality of life, your day-to-day workflow. And so we really focus on small things that matter, like selection controls, camera controls. That one I know we're not done yet. It's still in beta, and we still have a lot of work to do. But please, again, send us feedback and input. We improve search and filtering. And then, as you heard yesterday, finally, we have grass height customization. Yay! That was the biggest applause I heard in the keynote. And it took a while because we had to actually deal with a large community. Not you guys, the environmentalists. They were afraid that we were going to cut down a lot of grass overall. And so it was a little bit dodgy, but we finally did it. But hey, let's look at the future now and what workflows we will enable in the future. So Tyler, take it away.
Awesome. Thanks, Steph. Hi, everybody. I'm Tyler, and I lead design for Roblox Studio. Through my career, I've worked in architecture, visual effects, and gaming. So I've worked with a lot of 3D software. I'm super excited to continue to make Roblox Studio one of the best creation tools out there. So to kick things off, we want to make Studio easier to learn. So in just the first 2 weeks of launching our tutorial, we had over 100,000 creators try it out. Here you can see a step-by-step guide to inserting and manipulating parts. During this tutorial, at the end of the tutorial, you get to drive a race car off of a ramp and catch some air. The goal of this is to show how easy it can be to create something fun in just a few simple steps. Next, we'll be sharing an API so that you can create your own custom tutorials for you and your team. And we're already seeing creators find early success faster because of these tutorials. Now, once you and your team know how to use Studio, we want to help you collaborate effectively. So you'll be able to see where your collaborators are in real time, whether it's in scripts or whether it's in the 3D viewport. You'll be able to navigate directly to them and work together more effectively. As your team gets larger, we know that tracking changes becomes more and more important. We're showing you the history of who did what and when they did it. So you'll be able to track things like who updated what script and who published changes. This is going to increase transparency and accountability on your team and help you stay up to date with what your team is up to. Now, speaking of staying up to date, we're also adding notifications into Creator Hub and directly into Studio. This is going to allow us to share the most important updates directly with you when it matters the most. You'll get notified about moderation updates, collaboration invites, and much more. And of course, you'll be able to set the preferences for these notifications so you get notified about what matters to you. Next, we want to help you move mountains. And so we're making the terrain tool easier to use. The shortcuts are easier to understand, the interface is more intuitive, and it's easier to see what you're actually changing in your scene. We're also launching changes to help make your scenes more interactive with no code. So drag detectors are going to make it easier for you to help your players spin wheels, slide levers, and do much more, things like open doors directly in your scene. This is seamlessly integrated into our physics system and works across every platform, including VR. So here you can see some pretty complex interactions made much easier with no code. We're making packages easier to use, more flexible, and more powerful. We know that packages haven't always been perfect, but we're really invested in their future. You can create custom properties, you can modify them in real time, and easily compare the changes. So here you can see how easy it is to change packages and evaluate those changes directly in Studio. And finally, let's make UI easier to design and to build with no code. So we're making it easier to experiment and prototype directly in Studio. The video shows how you can update things like properties and themes across the board in just a few clicks. Now, let's look into the future a little bit more. The future of Studio is more collaborative, it's easier to use, it's personal, and it's more powerful. That means a more updated interface that is easier to understand, organized around your workflows, can be customized, and is more powerful with artificial intelligence. New system menus, updated and customizable tabs, new icons that are easier to understand, and a revamped design. Zooming in a little more, the future workspace is tailored to your task. That means you can focus on the most important thing, the experience or the content that you're creating. And the tools that you need will be readily available at your fingertips. You'll have customizable workspaces, contextual tools, and multi-view capabilities. We can't wait to get this in your hands, and this is just the beginning. So thanks, everybody. Next, I'll pass it to Steph to talk about how we're thinking beyond Studio.
Thank you, Tyler. Yeah, as we saw yesterday, making it successful is not just about Studio, of course. It needs to fit the workflow, right? And so the next few slides are going to show you how we are thinking outside Studio and how we are really pushing to get all the content, the code, into Studio seamlessly. So the first thing we did a few weeks ago, we open sourced our Live Link plugin from Blender to Studio. So Blender is the #1 tool used by our community outside Studio. And so we wanted to make it really simple to create content and then push it directly to the Roblox cloud. And we are using packages so things can be versioned. And it's a very smooth flow. It's using FBX now. We're going to switch to GLTF very soon now that we have support. And we believe this is going to be a massive improvement for your day-to-day productivity. This is also an open source project, so we hope the community will pick it up and will expand it and make it even better. And so that's the goal, and it's up to you guys to basically do with that code whatever fits your needs and your workflow. And so this is for builders, but what about coders? And so this was the God, ray of God moment of yesterday you saw in the keynote. So this is a first prototype where you can see people are typing inside VS Code, and then the code shows up in Studio. And so we are going to enable more file-based synchronization with Studio, and then enable a lot of your standard workflows that you use day to day. At the same time, we're also building for the future, and we are allowing you to edit your data model of your experience directly through an open cloud API. So here's an example. I have a game where there are potions that I'm selling, and then here I can open just a Google spreadsheet, like a small CMS, and then I can add more of those potions, and then the thing is completely directly synchronized to the cloud. So again, you don't even have to go through Studio, and you can update your experience directly through the Open Cloud API. For the last two things we showed, again, those are just early prototypes, so we would love to get as much feedback as possible. And so don't feel shy, come to our booth, talk to Eric and Lynn and everybody at the Studio booth, and please let us know if what we are planning to build is really fitting your workflow, your needs, because we are building it for you. So that's the most important thing.
And I hear we have live demos there.
Yeah, we do. So go there, try to break it. Find bugs, find problems, and we are here for listening. And then the last thing I want to say about workflows from the outside in, coming soon is Avatar Auto Setup. So we wanted to make it really easy to set up a full R15 dynamic head avatar inside Studio, and we don't want to ask you to do caging, set up attachment points, and all that kind of stuff in like Maya or Blender. We should figure it all out for you. There's no creative input in most cases. And so we are looking to using AI to automate that. We will auto-rig, auto-skin, auto-cage, make a best guess on attachment points. You can still edit those. You'll be able to edit also the location of the joints if you don't do a fantastic job, or if your character has some weird wings or so. And then everything will basically be ready to be pushed to the marketplace. So that's coming soon. Again, it's going to be first a beta, and something we would love to get as much feedback from you as possible. So thank you for that. And now we get into the area that I know you all have been waiting for. You saw Assistant was a very powerful video that you saw yesterday. Today we're going to do a live demo. But first I want to do a little bit of history on what we released in March. So we released Material Generator and Code Assist. Those two releases, those two AI features have actually significantly changed how much content the community is creating. Material Generator increased by 50% the number of PBR material variants that are built on the platform. And then Code Assist made people so much more productive that it increased by 2x the amount of code that they generate every day. So it was definitely like a great step in the right direction. We wanted now to expand that. And so today we are showing a quick video of what Assistant will do. We are aiming to launch it this year, and then we're going to do a live demo. So just looking at the workflow, the first step is building. And so we incorporated a chat interface where you can just, with plain English, ask what you want, and in this case, build a beautiful campground scene with fire and wood and trees all around. And again, it's just about like plain English. The chat UI can then, the LLM underneath can grab assets, can arrange them, can scale them, can rotate them, and can do all that stuff for you so you can get faster to your first playable version. And then for texturing, we're going to see a live demo in just a few minutes. This is the next step for Material Generator. Material Generator only worked for tiled materials. So it was great for doing ceiling, flooring, tables, things that don't have anything specific. But what if I'm trying to texture like an animal or a character, right? In that case, there are very specific areas that need very specific textures. And so we want to tackle that and expand how much AI can help you in that front. And then once we build things, the next step is coding. And we have seen Code Assist in action, and now we can suggest code for you. But now we are taking it to the next step. So it can explain code for you. It can make recommendations about how to improve that code. And then as Nick and Tian said, nobody likes to debug. And so we also have a system being able to do debugging. So if there are things not working, in this case, my animation is not playing, why is that? You can select the code, and then a system can help you debug the code on your day-to-day. So we believe all this is going to be incredibly powerful, an incredibly powerful tool for you to be more productive in your day-to-day and focus on more the creative stuff and not have to deal with the tedious tasks. But one more addition to the assistant capabilities that I think is going to be even more groundbreaking is really around documentation. Documentation is often hard to find. It's hard to find the right function that I need in that moment or even understand how to use it. And there's a vast body of documentation. There's also a lot of amazing posts that you guys have made on that forum over the years, but some of those may be obsolete or some may not reflect the current API. And so we wanted to really take this, put it in the hands of AI, get all the most fresh content, and then through the chat interface, allow you to query for those functions and those information. So I think this will be a phenomenal tool for people to really learn Roblox and really grow into like top developers like you guys are. All right, so that's it, and now it's going to be time for a live demo. All right, let me see if you can see the screen. We have a nice camping scene here. All right, there you go, the one that we saw in the example. And no camping experience is complete without the bear showing up. Especially if you're in California, you go to Yosemite. I mean, that is an experience that you need to have. And so here I have just an untextured mesh of a bear, and then I'm going to start with something like very normal, like let's get brown bear. And so I'm going to click on generate. And then now our backend is basically taking this mesh, is trying to understand what the mesh is getting context both from the geometry and the text, and is applying in 15 seconds. For now, we're going to optimize it, of course, to try to go faster, and is applying to our character. So there you go. But I can do also something a little bit more crazy and creative. So let's say rainbow color whimsical bear, something magic for my game. Let's see how it does. They told me like, hey, 15 seconds on stage waiting are gonna feel really long. And you know what? They were right. So I think we're now just 3 seconds, 2, 1. There you go. Boom. Yeah. And now, because we are so brave, we're going to take prompts from the audience. Ooh, who wants to go first?
Sparkly. Raccoon. Cyberpunk.
Ninja. Okay, cyberpunk, sparkly, I heard. So cyberpunk, sparkly, Android bear. What about that? Oh, pink. Yeah. No, punk. Not pink. Thank you. All right. Then we'll do pink right after. We may run out of time, but maybe we can squeeze one more. Okay, that's when, Rob, you're supposed to tell a joke, I believe, right?
Oh, man.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty amazing once we can release that to you. There you go.
Yeah.
It definitely shows the sparkles. I love it.
Hey.
Okay,
Steph,
one more.
You want to zoom in on the face?
Sorry, what did you say? Barbie cowboy bear? Holy cow. All right. This one I have no idea what's going to be. Barbie cowboy bear. Like, I wouldn't even know how to actually make it if, I can use Substance Painter pretty well. I will have no idea what that would mean. But, that's the fun of AI sometimes. Just throw something out there, and then you get inspiration. Maybe you get an idea for something completely different later on. So we found that's the beauty. It's not just the pragmatic tool that does what you need. Holy cow. So I can tell you I'm going to use this one in my next game, for sure. This is crazy. Okay, one last. Can we do one last? Do we have time to do one last?
We got time.
Okay. Oppenheimer. This is getting to like the film stuff. Come on, think more. Raccoon bear. Holy cow, let's try that. This is going to be hard because AI is going to be like, is this a raccoon or a bear? I have tried, I confess, the zebra bear. Looks amazing. I did not try the raccoon bear yet. So it's going to be a true surprise. And we are hoping to get all these tools and assistants to you before the end of the year. So hopefully that will still happen. Whoa.
Pretty good.
Right. I think we nailed it. So. Okay, we can switch back to the slide. Thank you. So how do we achieve all this magic? There's only one way, and it's access to data. And so yesterday we released our plan to work with you and gather as much data from you as possible so that we can train those models. And there's going to be two different paths for content. The first one is code or experiences that you give us the permission to use to train our internal models. And then the second one is a public Luau dataset that we are building for the world. We will never use any of your code or content without your permission. I think Nick and Tian were very clear on that. And that's why we're asking you the permission to do it. But if you scan that code, you will see there's going to be a question. Are you contributing to AI of Roblox internal use? Or are you contributing to the Luau public dataset? And why are we asking you to do that? Our dream, our North Star, is that every large language model, every AI on the planet will understand Roblox game development, will understand Luau, will be able to create Luau code, like it creates Python code, C# code, and so on. And we want to elevate Luau to like a top-level language that is ubiquitous, that every AI of the world understands. This allows you to use a bunch of tools that are going to pop up in the next decade so that you can use them to create games and experiences in a much faster way. Today, in order to get a good Luau out of an LLM, we have to fine-tune that LLM. And if you're looking, for example, today, a GPT 3.5 Turbo, now you can fine-tune it. The cost of the fine-tuned version is 8 times the cost of the plain vanilla version. So by putting Luau early in the training set of the next, GPT and Claude and so on, we're allowing you to not have to fine-tune, to not have to pay that 8x cost. And instead, they will all work straight off the bat in Luau and will generate amazing code for you. And it's not just about the big companies. We want to also enable like every researcher on the planet that is coming out with the next Stable Diffusion breakthrough equivalent to have access to Luau code that we curate for them. And it's not that we are taking basically your experiences and we are putting them on GitHub. Imagine like if your game was a book. We are taking that book to like a document shredder. We are cutting into 1 million pieces. We are taking 10% of those, and we are mixing with another like 10,000 games, and we're going to make a big soup, and that's going to be the curated like public Luau dataset. So we are going to scrape off like API keys, like anything that doesn't show up in multiple games is not really valuable for this purpose because we are trying to capture like standard routines and functions that are useful to everybody. So that is our big and bold goal for the future. We know there's been a lot of the game fund companies already contributing. I know we have Phaserlock, Maximilian Studios, Luthi Games already like contributing. We are like super stoked, and we hope you all will contribute as well. So that is the end of my section, and now we're going to have Rob talk about creation everywhere. Rob, take it away.
Thank you, Steph. So we've talked about amazing investments that we are making for creation inside of Studio, outside of Studio, across the board. The way to conceptualize creation everywhere is imagine we take every single one of those investments and we make it available to you as an API that you can integrate into your experiences. We think that this opens the door for you to create really amazing stuff that's next level, enables your users to create content, and ushers in the future of the Roblox platform. Apologies. So last year we stood up here and we talked about this, and it was a nascent idea that we were bringing to life. This year we're talking about it and it's becoming a reality. So earlier this month, we launched the ability for users to create packages from inside of an experience. So now you can build an experience where one of your users can go, they can customize a car, they can build anything they want, and they can bring that content out of your experience onto the platform and into their inventory. So this is very engaging for users. They care about this. They invested a bunch of time in making something, and owning it is a really interesting material action. But we believe it's really interesting for creators as well. And there's two things that we should think about here. One is that building experiences, creation experiences are very engaging. Users love to do this. And so you can think about putting these mechanics into your experience as something that engages your player base. The second is that we're building an attribution system across the Roblox platform. And the way to imagine this is a new form of discovery. Any content that shows up anywhere on the Roblox platform retains a link back to the experience where it was created. And users who discover that content can instantly teleport to your experience. So if you make really cool cars or houses or trees or anything else, someone finds it on the Roblox platform, they can come to your experience to make another one. So this is really awesome when we think about it in terms of inanimate objects, cars, houses, trees. It becomes next level interesting when we think about it in terms of avatars. And by the end of this year, we are going to enable users to publish avatars outside of your experience, wear that avatar all around the platform, and retain the same characteristics of attribution that will lead new users back to your experience. And this is a little hard to wrap your mind around, but we think it's going to be a really powerful capability for you and a really interesting mechanic on the platform. So you can imagine a future where we have AI-powered APIs that can create a very interesting, compelling, personalized avatar inside of your experience, and then users can publish it out of your experience back to the platform, wear it around the platform, and lead new users back to your experience. And the mechanics and the details of how this will work are going to be really, really incredible. And that's everything we had to share with you today. At this point, we'd love to open the floor for questions. We have mics on both sides of the aisle, so please come up and ask whatever's on your mind. Start down here.
Hello, my name is David. I'm with Phaserlock. We just launched Primal Assault on Roblox. My question is, when it comes to creating textures for bears, can you also create tiling terrain textures for environments?
So that capability is already in Studio. It's called Material Generator, and that is basically all tileable PBR materials.
Okay, fantastic. And can you also, like with the bear, could you have added wings to it?
So that's the geometry. So we are now basically, we have successfully tackled texturing. We also have for avatars rigging and skinning. The next step that we are hoping the industry will have a major breakthrough is geometry, right? There's no text to geometry tool or service out there that actually works, but there's a lot of research going on. So hopefully in the next 6 months, that will happen.
Okay, thank you very much.
Hi, my name's Peter. I was hoping to hear a little bit more about the texturing tools, like for the bear and whatnot. For example, is it generating UVs for the bear, or is it just using the UVs that are already on it? And is that like a capability you plan on having?
That's a great question. So UV is critical. If your object does not have UVs or has bad UVs, of course the texture is not going to look great. So right now in the pipeline, there are two options. We can either preserve the existing UV or we can replace it. And so we are looking into ways to basically generate on the fly like UV as well, in case the user. We will leave, of course, the choice to the creator, but it's definitely something we're looking into that because sometimes, if you download models from the internet or they're not like as well like unwrapped, we may need to basically wipe it off and then do a new UV.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, I'm Ryan, in-game name Airplane Punch. And my question is, with the generative AI tool for avatar creation, do you think there could be risks for devaluing potentially the UGC created avatar profiles or avatar like body objects?
Yeah, I think that this is something we're thinking about very deeply and looking at very closely. Our goal across the board is not to devalue anything, but to empower creators to make new things. This will touch both of the creation workflows that we make for creating things, but also the economic systems of how the marketplace works around UGC items. And I think you'll hear really interesting things in the next couple weeks about how we want to protect the value of that market.
Great. Thank you.
Good morning. Thank you for your presentation. For the AI-enabled debugging, do you anticipate it being able to debug multiple behaviors over multiple scripts?
You mean all at once?
Within the one program, doesn't matter, all at once or in series. If you can just follow the chain of debugging through the scripts, that's fine. But is it, if behaviors are, across multiple, like 20 scripts, can it follow?
The short answer is I don't know. I think, right now I believe it works within the same script. And so I don't know if by the time we roll it out, it will also be able to do across scripts. But for more information about this, come to the booth, and you're going to find a lot of people that can give you more specific answers.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
My name is Harry. My username is ScreamingXXX. So I was wondering if the packages that players export into the marketplace would be treated the same as, per se, how UGC items are now, where there are limited variants and you can put a price on it and whatnot. The reason I bring that up is I think the idea of different sub-communities within the Roblox item and package market being dependent on either a group of games where that share a similar style where you can carry over the items into them. I was wondering if y'all were thinking about that kind of thing.
So our base way of thinking about this or treating this is that we want users in experiences to be creators in their own right. So everything across the platform should work and behave with the same fundamental systems. And so the one difference will be this idea of attribution and where things are created. And we may build some systems on top of that. But at a base level, first pass, it's all the same approach.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Hi, my name's Matthew, and I was wondering what's leaving Roblox Studio? There's always more stuff coming in and always stuff on its way out. What's on its way out of Roblox Studio?
Can you give an example? I don't know if we ever took anything out.
Look, I know that the collision group API, that one's deprecated right now, and that one's on its way out. But I was wondering if anything else is on its way to being deprecated.
Well, one more that I can say is the script editor went through a massive refactor. Right now we have also live scripting. And the thing that left was 10,000 lines of code that now we don't have to maintain, and now it's a lot cleaner interface. I think overall is less about removing functionalities and more retooling them in a way to be more intuitive. I think Tyler showed the terrain system. So that's something that in his current configuration is not really doing what it should be doing, and so we are looking to revamping that from scratch. So I don't think we're gonna reduce functionality, but we're gonna take, pay attention to specific ones that maybe they haven't reached the full potential, and then revamp them. I don't know, Tyler, if you want to add.
Yeah, I was just gonna add, I think our challenge as a team is how do we continue to add power, functionality, efficiency to Studio and not make it overloaded and bloated. And so that's why we're really revamping the interface so that we can make sure that the workflows are specific to you, make sure that you can still focus on the content, and the tools can be more powerful, but still easier and easier to use over time.
All right. Thank you. And one more point. Studio retains the same backwards compatibility contract as the engine. We want to ensure that you can rely on things always being there. So it's very rare that we will actually deprecate functionality. In this case, we probably had a reason for it, and it does happen. But we try to not do this.
Yeah, I understand.
Thank you.
All right, my name is Kyle, or Kyle's45678. Earlier, you showed a Blender add-on that allowed us to re-upload models to update them. And I was wondering if you guys had anything planned in the future for animations as well, because one of the biggest gripes with making Blender animations is that you upload an animation and then you have to re-upload the markers onto that animation, and it can be a pain sometimes.
Yeah, thank you for saying that, because I've been also very passionate about this. So we added support for rigs and animation from the Blender plugin very recently. And it's basically following a little bit the roadmap of GLTF, right? Because we're going to switch to GLTF as a better format. As you know, in Blender, the FBX export import is just a reverse engineer version of the FBX SDK. So not something you can rely on. And so we're switching that all to GLTF. The GLTF flow from Blender to Studio just added last week support for rigging animation. We don't have support for dynamic heads yet, but I'm told it's going to come in like 2 weeks. And so at that point, we will have basically the full pipe, and then we can take avatars through the Blender plugins in Blender into Studio, and they will retain basically everything, all the rigging and all that stuff.
That's awesome. Great to hear. Thanks.
Thank you.
Hi there, my name is Lancelot with Royal High, and one of my main questions was actually regarding to the AI generation for the textures. With traditional textures, you're uploading them directly from your account to the experience, and they're subject to moderation and stuff like that. With the AI generation, are these textures going to be directly linked to your account, and if so, how subject are they to moderation? And what is the risk to your account when using AI, if any?
That's a fantastic question. So maybe I can add some, and Rob and Tyler, feel free to add. So the first thing in the demo, we were just generating the diffuse texture. But our goal is to have full PBR, like we did for material generator, so that will come soon. There is no difference right now in Studio between texture that you create by hand in Photoshop or Substance Painter and you import, or something that you create in AI. Once you publish the texture, it goes through the same moderation flow. But I would say the stuff that is created through AI, because we're also doing filtering on the text side and on the generation, is going to be less likely to be moderated overall, right? But ultimately, it's not going to be any different from any content that you create in any other way.
Yeah, so basically, it's up to you to make sure that after the AI generates a text, it's appropriate before sending it.
So we do our best to do that check ahead, right? So we filter on the text prompt and also on the generation. But then after that, once it's published, it also goes through the standard moderation flow.
Yeah. So it'll be like it was just yours.
Exactly. But you're just going to be, because of all those initial checks, you're going to be less likely, right? Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, my name's Ryan, and my username is Epic Red Pandas, and I was wondering about the AI-generated textures for the bear example. I was wondering if you're going to have any kind of integration with AI and like manual editing in case the AI creates something that you don't want, that you can go in and manually edit yourself, and if you guys had any plans on that.
I would say like the textures that are generated are like every other texture, right? You have basically an asset ID, you can download it, you can bring it into like Photoshop and change it. So it's not that it's like a black box, that's all you get. Like you can still edit the texture.
Okay.
In terms of like creating like finer controls, like in painting and all these things that we have seen, come out on like, Midjourney and the like, I think it's something that we are considering. I think it's more on the UX front, how the user can manifest intent in a way that is not using text, but it can actually maybe act directly on the asset. So that's something that we are investigating on the UX front. Tyler, I don't know if you want to add.
Yeah, we have early prototypes and designs of, hey, let's say you just wanted to repaint the head or something, doing that in Studio in the future. But for now, I think we're going to rely solely on kind of existing retexturing tools because we think they do it quite well so far.
I want to add one more pitch or plug for the next talk. If you come to that, you'll hear about something called a dynamic texture or a dynamic image, which is an instance we're releasing in the engine, which allows you to paint pixels. So you can imagine a future workflow where the AI dumps pixels into a dynamic image, and then you get direct per pixel control to tweak anything that you don't like.
Okay, but do you have to, or after the AI generates it, do you have to upload that image, or is it automatically uploaded as the AI generates it?
I think for now it's not directly uploaded, but I think in the future we are looking to expose that through the dynamic texture API. So in that case, you will have direct access to it.
Okay,
yeah.
Thank you.
And one more thing I'll add is, I think in the future with the AI tool, we also want to allow you to upload attachments so that if you have an existing image that might be a great reference, you could attach that with your prompt, and that could really help us focus kind of and get your intent as well.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
Awesome. Hi, I'm Anand from Spatial. The AI demo was excellent, the bear. Can you talk about the constraints of the model? Is it anything special about the bear, or can it take any arbitrary 3D model of Sketchfab or something that has good UVs?
I should have just downloaded something from the internet.
Really?
Randomly, right? And
wow.
No, I'm just saying, to prove the point. Like, there's nothing special about that mesh. As you said, like, it needs to have good UVs.
Okay.
That's very important. Otherwise, you're gonna see like, start seeing like stretching or like seams. You know, for example, that bear, all the seams are basically on the bottom, on the belly, which is where they should be, not on the back or other places. And so that's why the texture looks so good. But yeah, the tool is quite general.
Cool.
We wanted to make something that works for like any object, ideally. So yeah.
When is it live?
So we are trying to ship Assistant before the end of the year.
Okay.
That's the goal.
And is it, will you guys extend it to behavior too? So you can say, okay, make this bear pace around or?
Yeah, the behavior part is already part of Code Assist. And then we're going to have Assistant do more stuff around coding. So you'll be able to use natural language to also add code and behaviors.
Cool. Yeah. Okay, thanks.
Hey, my name's Drake Rose. I go by Drake Rose on the platform. I'm excited with all the AI that's being integrated into Studio. These are very useful tools, and I can see technology appearing in other tools. Has there been some discussion about having AI added to the microprofiler? Because historically, the microprofiler has been poorly documented, and it's an amazing tool, but without that knowledge, it's really difficult to use. I imagine that AI can be paired with the microprofiler and can be used easily to find pain points in your experience, and an AI, like a machine learning language, could provide suggestions on how you can go about fixing it or areas to address.
Yeah, I think this should be part of the assistant scope around debugging and optimization of the code. And so, yeah, I don't see why not.
It's a great idea.
Yeah.
Cool, all right.
I got one thing really quick. Do the AI texturing, does that also do reflective normal maps and roughness maps?
Good question. So the current demo just does only one color map, like diffuse. We already have technology that we develop in-house to actually convert that into a full PBR model. So with metalness, roughness, and normal maps. And so that will be when we launch it. That will be enabled, and that's what you're gonna get. So full PBR.
Okay, thank you.
Awesome.
All right, I think we are out of time.
Yeah, thank you all.
Thank you.